Have you ever wondered why the top 5% of people, wealthy people, become what they are? What is the secret sauce behind it? Now, I'll give you a few examples to explain this. That's better, right? Now, there are a few stories I want to bring up. Now, we all know about Amazon's Jeff Bezos. He was the first mover in the e-commerce industry in 1996. We all know that story. And he founded Amazon, which started as a online book company, which went on to become whatever it is today, $1 trillion giant, right? So he was a first mover. If you see these successful or the enormously wealthy people are the first mover in an industry which is at the sunrise industry, which is at the beginning or nascent stage of a huge growth potential in the future, a large addressable growth. Now, if you take e-commerce, Bezos was out there as a first person, and he had his advantage because he was a first mover even in the cloud industry, because he literally commercialized the cloud business through AWS. So he had a double benefit there. He was a first mover in e-commerce, he was a first mover in cloud, which made him the super rich person what he is. Now, let's take another example of a CEO. What did Satya Nadella do differently? He was a first mover in making a tech company change its complete focus towards a nascent business like cloud business, right? In the primitive stages of cloud growth, they found Azure. They made all their focus and effort, put all their focus and effort into Azure, and made Azure same market share as Amazon AWS over a period of next 5-6 years. So that's a big feat. And he was not the first mover, but he was one of the first movers. Now you take an investor standpoint. Ron Barron, one of the richest fund manager out there, he was one of the first guy who found the value in Tesla, and he put his capital in Tesla in 2014. His fund put close to $380 million in 2014, which has currently now grown into $6 billion in 8 years. That's a huge wealth creation by his fund because he believed in the management or on the CEO Elon Musk, and he bet on Tesla. He saw the potential in EV industry, electric vehicle industry, and he bet on Elon, and that's worked beautifully for Ron Barron's funds. Again, as an investor, he was one of the first mover. Now let's take an example of Naspers. Koos Becker, who was a South African entrepreneur. He found the potential in China in year 2000, and he funded Tencent. He was one of the first investor in Tencent, which is an online gaming company, which expanded into different horizons, including online payments, through online social media like WeChat, WePay, and all of that. Tencent is a super giant now, just like Amazon. But Koos Becker found the opportunity in China in the internet sector, and he bet on the internet in China in year 2000, somewhere there. He put a 46% stake. He invested $32 million for approximately half the percentage of the company. That is 50% stake in the company in 2001. And in the next 20 years, Naspers' current stake is valued around $134 billion. That's probably more than 1000x in the next 20-year period. So that is the amount of wealth he created for Naspers as a CEO. So that's like Tencent, it's up almost 4,000 times in 20 years. So his advantage was he was a first mover, and he saw the opportunity in China and internet at the same time. And then he stayed through the company for 20 years. He stayed with Tencent for 20 years, and they're still invested. They still own 1/3 of Tencent, right? Naspers or Proceus, whichever company you take. Now, that's the first quality. They are all first mover in a nascent industry or a sunrise industry, which is going to have a significantly large supernominal growth ahead in the next 10-20 years. So that's a first secret sauce. Second, they went almost all in into such opportunities, because these opportunities are rare. So when you find these opportunities, you don't stake like 5% of your portfolio, 2% of your portfolio. That's not going to change your life. That's not going to make you super wealthy, get into the top 5%. So you have to bet big when you get such life-changing opportunities. Now, Benjamin Graham, he was an investor, famous investor. He bet almost 25% of his partner's capital into Geico in 1948, acquiring 50% of the enterprise for an amount of $700K that time, which grew up 500 times to over 400 million 25 years later. This was in 1948. So Benjamin Graham was a concentrated investor. For all we know, he bought almost 50% of Geico, putting around 25% of his partner's capital, right? So that's a level of bet he went all in. And similar is Buffett. We know when he got Amex opportunity, I think the oil scandal that happened 1965, Buffett's 40% of portfolio was in Amex. Similarly, outsized bets has to be taken when you find such kind of opportunities. Whether you're going to start as an entrepreneur, a CEO, or as an investor, you need to take outsized bets in a nascent large industries, or when an already outperforming industry comes down in valuation during turbulent times like now, we will get such opportunities. So you have to go all in at that point of time. Now, obviously, it all has, I'm talking about in decades. Nothing of this is in a matter of 1 or 2 years. All of the returns, even though all whether Buffett bought it or Benjamin Graham bought it or Goose Becker bought it or Jeff Bezos started the entrepreneurship, they all waited at least a decade or probably 2 decades to see the returns. So it's all about a long-term commitment and patience to stick with that conviction bet for long periods of time till they work it, right? So you pick 3 or 4 such opportunities at the current juncture, take outsized bet, and then hold with that conviction over the long periods of time. You're going to get into the, if not top 5%, even if top 10, 15, 20%, it doesn't hurt. Life is cool, right? So you're going to get 100 baggers in investing, or you're going to become a billionaire as an entrepreneur. The trick is this is a secret sauce. I just wanted to bring this up. Thanks for staying with me. Signing off, Sandeep Bharat.